Final update. I asked my boyfriend for space, just a month to think. He said he understood. But when I finally reached out, he replied, "We broke up the day you stopped responding." Now he's engaged to someone else, and everyone thinks I'm the villain. But none of them know the truth. Or how far I'm willing to go to fix what he destroyed. With her, he was cracking jokes and smiling constantly. When Luke got up to order drinks, our eyes met for a split second across the cafe. He didn't look angry or hurt or regretful. He just looked indifferent, like I was a stranger he vaguely recognized but had no emotional connection to. That hurt more than if he'd seemed upset. The whole interaction lasted maybe 30 seconds, but it shattered something inside me. This wasn't some rebound relationship or revenge dating. Luke was genuinely happy with this woman in a way he'd never been with me. And she seemed equally content, like they'd found exactly what they were looking for in each other. A year later, my entire life had collapsed. Honestly, I'm still trying to figure out how everything went so wrong so fast. It's like the universe decided to punish me for wanting independence and setting boundaries with a man who couldn't handle a strong woman. Things with Marcus fell apart pretty quickly after that day at the coffee shop. He said, I was still too hung up on Luke to be in a real relationship, which was unfair because I was genuinely trying to move on, but apparently wanting to process my feelings about seeing my ex was too much emotional baggage for him. After Marcus, I tried dating other guys, but everyone seemed to have impossible standards or wanted some perfect woman who didn't exist. I go on dates, and they disappear after 1 or 2 meetings, probably intimidated by my strong personality and independence. It was exhausting trying to find someone mature enough to handle a real woman. Meanwhile, I kept hearing updates about Luke and Naomi through mutual friends. They'd moved in together after just 6 months, which seemed incredibly rushed and reckless, but apparently, everyone thought they were perfect together and meant to be. It was nauseating how people bought into their fairy tale romance. The worst news came when I found out they'd gotten engaged. Engaged. After barely a year together, it was such an obvious rebound situation, but everyone was acting like it was some great love story. I felt embarrassed for Luke, rushing into marriage with someone he barely knew. I may have reached out to congratulate him and mention that I hoped he was sure about what he was doing, just looking out for someone I'd cared about for 5 years, but apparently, that was considered inappropriate contact. People started saying I was harassing him. Such an overreaction to genuine concern. Work became a nightmare around this time, too. I'd been dealing with some difficult coworkers who didn't appreciate my direct communication style, and things exploded when I called out their passive-aggressive behavior in a team meeting. Suddenly, I was labeled as difficult to work with and creating a hostile environment. My supervisor started documenting everything I did and monitoring my every move. It was clear they wanted me gone, probably because I made the other women in the office feel insecure about their own lack of ambition and drive. I ended up getting fired for poor team dynamics, which was basically code for refusing to kiss everyone's butt. Being unemployed while watching Luke plan his perfect wedding was probably the lowest point of my life. I'd see their engagement photos online and want to scream about how fake and rushed everything was, Naomi with her basic style and Luke pretending to be some romantic guy when he'd never been that way with me. I may have left some comments on their wedding venue's social media, trying to warn other couples about booking clients who abandon long-term relationships so callously. I was just trying to help other women avoid the same heartbreak I'd experienced. But apparently, that was considered harassment, too. Luke actually got a restraining order against me over some Facebook comments about his character. A restraining order over trying to warn people about how he treats women who love him. It was such a massive overreaction and made me look like some unhinged ex when I was just being honest about his behavior. The legal issues were humiliating and expensive. I had to hire a lawyer while I was already struggling financially from being unemployed. Potential employers would Google my name and find court records, making it even harder to find decent work anywhere. I ended up having to move back in with my parents at 28, which was devastating. All my friends were getting married and building careers while I was sleeping in my childhood bedroom, trying to figure out where everything went wrong. My mom kept asking what I had done to drive Luke away, like it was somehow my fault. The wedding happened without me, obviously, but I saw all the pictures online. Luke looked happier than I'd ever seen him, dancing with his basic bride and surrounded by all our former mutual friends. People who used to be my friends were now celebrating his new life like I'd never existed. What really stung was seeing how natural and healthy they looked together, not like two people rushing into something, but like they'd found exactly what they were looking for. The photos showed genuine joy and connection, which forced me to admit that maybe this wasn't just a rebound after all. But here's what nobody understands, I wasn't the villain in this story. I was a woman who asked for space to process her feelings. And instead of respecting that basic request, Luke immediately ran to another woman. I was the one who got abandoned and replaced. Yet somehow, I'm the one who ended up isolated and struggling. Everyone acts like I should just be happy for them and move on with my life. But it's not that simple when someone throws away 5 years like it meant nothing, when they find their soulmate the second you're not available to manage their emotions and insecurities anymore. I'm not bitter or jealous. I'm just realistic about what happened and how unfairly I've been treated by everyone involved. Luke couldn't handle 1 month of space from a strong, independent woman. So, he settled for someone who would never challenge him or push him to grow. And somehow, I'm the bad guy for pointing out how messed up that is. Now, I'm 29, starting over completely, while my ex of 5 years is living his perfect life with some woman he barely knew. If that's not cosmic injustice, I don't know what is. But I'm not giving up. Eventually, people will see through their fake happiness and realize what Luke really threw away when he chose comfort over real love.